I'm going to take a quick look at Ethereum right now. On our VIP call this morning, on Monday and Tuesday, we do it at 10 a.m. New York. Wednesday through Friday, we do it at 8:15 in the morning New York time. But this was our long position right here. So we planned this out, and it hit pretty damn well, actually. One of my VIPs came on, or was on both the calls, and he said, yeah, I hit that pretty well. He took profits when it spiked above this local high. So this trend line is going to be key. So if you're an Ethereum fan, let me go. Yeah, I'm on the 1 hour chart. And this trend line goes back to the lows of September 21st or 22nd, depending on where you are in the world. And it's essentially forming yet another triangle. It's got a different kind of flavor to it. It's a different type of triangle than Bitcoin's got, but something to this effect. And that's only 30 days long. So you can see here, Ethereum broke down when Bitcoin didn't. That makes sense because Bitcoin's triangle is 130 days long. But it's not necessarily a big breakdown. It's just it moved up higher than Bitcoin did because of the anticipation of the merge. It was just a big frenzy bull trap, essentially. So Ethereum's situation is a lot different than Bitcoin's. However, it still has a triangle. It's got a nice trend line that is very playable. So resolution to either side, if you go back to, kind of make your own triangle or a trend line down and a trend line up, your resolution on Bitcoin. So, and you can also see that the end of this triangle is roughly at the end of October, right? But this is actually, this is a little, this is October 29th, 30th, 31st. Yeah, it's right at the end of October. So you have both Bitcoin and Ethereum essentially pointing to there could be a resolution around the end of the month or the beginning of November, and there could easily be a fake out up first, a tradable one to the upside and then it could break down after, like the second week or the end of the first week of November. So if there is a resolution up on either Bitcoin or Ethereum, just realize that if you're trading to the upside, when Bitcoin hits about 21K, that's when you need to get a little bit, a lot more cautious, even if you're trading Ethereum, as Bitcoin does that, because that's when it can easily, the trap can be done and it can all come crashing back down. Make sense? All right. That's the midterm picture on Ethereum. Let me try to show you what I think is in play here. I don't know if I have a lot prepared. I have it all set up. So this, the triangle's in play first off. What EMAs are rocking and rolling on Ethereum? I haven't been as interested in playing Ethereum because Bitcoin has just been, I don't know, I preferred Bitcoin recently, but let me take a look here. If you're an Ethereum fan. Okay, so this weekly 10 is potentially your target as Bitcoin approaches 21K. Before I confirm that, let me see from current price to there where it would be. So 7%, okay. So hopefully Bitcoin to 21K would be less than 10%. It's right at 10%. So if Bitcoin is at 21K and change, I guess I have 21.3, then Ethereum, what you would see there, if there is a trap set situation, it would probably do a failure pattern above it. So for newer viewers, again, this is the time to hit the like button and subscribe if you're a new viewer. So I'm going to keep you in the know. So imagine, let's make that red. So a failure pattern means I think Ethereum would have a good chance of going above this, but when it comes back down, it makes a lower high and then breaks down. Something to that effect. Failure pattern of or at the weekly 10 EMA. That would be your target. But I would fully expect it to go above. I really would. And then when it comes down to here, I would be on lower high watch because it'll make a high as it punches through. And then you'll look for the retest, look for a lower high. And if it starts breaking down from there, that might be a good entry to take it the other way. Not financial advice. These are my thoughts What you do with my thoughts is up to you. All right. But that's what I would be looking for, like a price path guess, in the event of a bull trap later in October or early November. What could initiate that? So that's very tradable to the upside too, right? I mean, hell, like freaking 5%, more than 5% of play easily on that, right? Entering after it starts going up. So what would be a good initiator of that? Honestly, it might just be this damn trend line. It might be as simple as that. Yeah, I think this trend line would be the initiator of that. And so once Ethereum can get fully above here and use this as support, and once it starts curling back up, that would be your tradable edge up there. Is it guaranteed to go once that happens? No, but there are no guarantees in price. It's just you have to understand when do you have an edge, and that's when you have an edge. So even when you have an edge, like the house of a casino, they have an edge on all their games, but they pay out to their customers a lot, right? So that means they lose a lot, but over time they don't. So it's the same thing. And again, so when I say tradable edge, that doesn't mean, oh, cosasverdes said I sold my house and did 100x. Like, no, don't do that kind of stuff. It's a tradable edge that is a winner over time when you have a confirmed, identifiable, tradable edge in one way or another. And then to the downside, honestly, you have the Ethereum looks kind of easy to trade. You got pretty solid initiators both ways. And look how this accelerated to the downside, right? When it so bigger money is looking at this line. So once this 1 hour candle closed here, and then this next hour came up to get rejected, it really flew. Let's go to the 5 minute chart. Look at that. That was a So look, this is a perfect example of how I do the the punch lows or the punch highs, but you got to take it out before. Like, this is what big money's looking at. I'm telling you, it's not the damn candle closures necessarily, but in this case, it was the 1 hour closure with the retest. The closure actually did get it right on this one, but you can always see it this way. So if you have a support and the support is broken and price moves up on that asset, you have a statistical likelihood of a lower high being formed. So here is a high. As it moved up, you knew you had an edge on a lower high being formed. And then you could enter somewhere like here or here after it starts coming down. Maybe even enter here. And in terms of your managing your expectations of that trade, you would not expect it to really heat up to the downside, in which you could then move your stops to like break even and then deeper into profit afterward. But your expectations on the timing is, or not just timing, but when to expect it is when this is taken out. And look how it worked. I mean, it was exact. And it's the same to the upside as well. You get a punch high, a retest. It's just inverse. So if you get above this guy, so let's say this is resistance, you punch through it, make a high, a punch. So I call that a punch high because that's when it punched out. Come back to retest, wiggle the way up, and right here, right as it gets above that high, boom. That's a lot of times when bigger money will buy. That makes sense? Exactly it. So not necessarily a closure, because you're going to see this stuff on the 5 minute and 1 minute candles and all that shit. This is honestly this is literally perfect, but it happens constantly, and that's what bigger money, like, that's when they really flood it, when that kind of stuff happens. All right, here it just punched right through. Look at that. They didn't mess around here. No time. It just took out it accelerated when it took out this high without using this as support. So it doesn't happen every time, but that's when it got above the trading channel. All right. So that is what I would expect to the downside as well. So upside or downside, you're looking for it to get above, use as support, take out the punch high, or go below, use as resistance, take out the punch low, and that is when you have significant tradable edges. And I already gave you targets to the upside. I haven't to the downside. So it's just this trend line. So in terms of like profit taking, or when do you expect the move to start bouncing the other way, and potentially reverse. Bounce is not the same thing as reversal, but I would take a trend line. Let me get rid of this up. So this trend line dates back to August 14th. Take a trend line like this from August 14th, and I'm on the 1 hour chart. So your downside move, that is where it would go. If it were to happen, anytime this month, punch through here, rejection, and take out the punch low and come all the way down here. I can't give you an exact horizontal because it's not a horizontal. It's descending. So I can't give you an exact time frame, but if it happens close to the end of the month, like I'm thinking, it's going to hit an origin line. So origin line is the most macro line you can possibly have because it goes back to the beginning of price. And that is around the low 1200s. If it happens soon, it's not that low. So it's the mid, let's see here from that point. It's only a 3% drop from the bottom of this. So I would draw that trend line because depending on when it happens, it might be a small move and come right back in the triangle, or it comes here. Let me zoom in. So if it happened anytime soon, you would expect it to come down here. If it took out, came below, got rejected, took out the punch low, you would expect it to bounce off this. And then once it got up here, you would start looking for a potential rejection for it to then just trickle back down. Just kind of bounce it on this line. Make sense? And that should get you through. So what I just covered on Ethereum, if you just put this stuff on your chart, so the descending trend line back from August 14th, the top and bottom trend lines at the triangle, and the weekly 10, that's probably all you need through November 1st. And it'll literally give you the guidance for both fake outs / continuation up or fake outs continuation to the downside, and specifically what to look for as price is interacting with this top line and the bottom line, so you don't get caught in a fake out like a wick above and you go long. Like no, you want it to go above, use that support, and then take out the punch high. So I've covered from micro to midterm timeframes through the November 1st. Hopefully this helps you in your journey with trading Ethereum this month.